So Cressingham Gardens, don't know if everyone knows where Cressingham Gardens is. We're down in Lambeth, 300 homes, or 306 homes, directly next to Brockwell Park. We councillors set up a estate regeneration programme. It was triggered by a funding gap in their Decent Homes programme. So they didn't have enough cash to bring all the homes up to scratch, so kitchens, bathrooms and the likes. So they decided, well, we'll have to demolish people's homes instead of giving them a kitchen or bathroom. So that's how it got triggered. They put Cressingham Gardens into it as the first one. We've done a whole lot of FOIs to understand why, and I think it came down to some political decision or some local councillors deciding, you need a new roof, let's demolish your home and we can give you a new roof that way. Anyway, fast forward that, so we were a bit shocked right up front. It's a Ted Hollerby estate, which means there was the English Heritage has said it's locally noteworthy and should be part of the conservation area of Brockwell Park. But that responsibility lies with the council, and obviously they have refused to even read the application that Save Britain's Heritage has submitted. So Save Britain's Heritage has done all that work, and the council still refuses to consider it for extension of the conservation area. But part of the estate is part of the conservation area, to their horror, because we had to point it out to them. But anyway, going forward, mechanisms. We say group. Save Cressingham Gardens, I suppose is what you're talking about. It's not a group, it's a campaign. We have, I know we've done that on purpose, because when it comes to regeneration, it can get very, very nasty, and the council then tries to pick individuals off. I mean, everyone's got a price, and you don't want to put people under that pressure for different reasons. So we have Save Cressingham has no committee. Anyone can do anything they like under the Save Cressingham banner. We have a mailing list, and someone says, oh, we'd like to go and do that, and they send out the message to a few people, and everyone says, that sounds pretty cool, let's go and do it. So we have a lot of number of artists, so we have a lot of positive campaigns, so a lot of people in the wider community actually look upon Cressingham Gardens as an ideal place to live, even if whatever your views on council estates, Cressingham is always the exception locally, and everyone loves Cressingham. Even the street properties, they love where we live, and they're all quite jealous. So everyone wants to live at Cressingham, which is great. So we don't have the same conflict where I think some other estates have. We've made a very clear decision on the language. We don't talk about tenants or leaseholders or freeholders or temporary accommodation unless we're talking about specific legal rights. Otherwise, everyone's a resident and everyone has equal rights in any discussion. So it's always about residents. It's about we often leave off the name estates. It's about Cressingham Gardens. It's about residents, and do what you can with your neighbours. It is a very tight-knit community. Even those who are in private rental will live there 7-10 years until family circumstances change. So we don't have necessarily the turnover, which is great. So in terms of mechanisms. This is probably where it gets slightly complex. So we've got Save Cressingham Gardens, which is the campaign. We have a residents association. We changed the name just to Residents Association. We're no longer a Tenants and Residents Association, we're a Residents Association. We managed to sneak that through at the last AGM when the council didn't really bother to turn up to our AGM, which is great. So that, because of the blackmail by the council to shut down the community hall, the Residents Association does not get involved in regeneration anymore because they blackmailed the community. We had to adopt a new constitution. If we didn't, they shut down the community hall. And as a consequence, anything we do which is anti-regeneration or would do anything, they would shut down our community access. So the Residents Association purely does what the traditional Residents Association does, so the community events, anything like that. It does generate income. But we can't use it for any Save Cressingham events. But we do charge the council £35 an hour to use their own hall, which we're loving. So it's fair. So if we do a Save Cressingham event in the hall, we also have to pay. So everyone pays to use the hall, keep it clean. We then also have set up a Cressingham Gardens Residence Management Cooperative. And this is the group that specifically looks at right to manage and right to transfer. Again, we set up a separate group because originally the Residents Association was dealing with regen, and we needed to separate it because obviously there was one of those questions earlier. You can't do right to transfer to thwart a regeneration. And we were very clear to the central government when we got initial permission to go ahead and look at the options, was this is about repairs and maintenance. Lambeth Council is failing dismally in the repairs and maintenance, and this is what's triggering it, and we want to go ahead and take over the repairs and maintenance. We just have a complex background, which is regeneration. So last year in March, we served the first notice. It's 2 notices. I think we're the first ones to do it. We served notice for both the right to manage and the right to transfer. Most times, so right to transfer, as Zoe was saying, is you put it into either community ownership or you change your land, or basically changing your freeholder. The other one, right to manage, is you're taking over the repairs and maintenance as a part of a TMO exercise. The council came back to us and said, but you have to choose one or the other. And we're like, why do you have to choose one or the other? They're 2 separate legislations. It doesn't say you have to choose one or the other. So we're going to go do both, because if you demolish, we still want to manage, and we don't trust you, so we still want to do the repairs and maintenance, so we can do the right to transfer as well. So that was finally accepted. The council can't object to the right to manage, so we are proceeding full pelt on that one. Hopefully we'll go to a community vote at the end of the year to put that into implementation. The right to transfer, the council did object eventually on regeneration grounds. So we're stuck in the same process, but 1 year, we're not as far behind. We've got what? Yeah.
You're behind us in the queue.
Yeah. But apparently we'll be dealt with at the same time, we were told. Yeah. So we're waiting for the Secretary of State and the right to transfer. When we submitted, we'd already had our People's Plan. So we put together an alternative, which was, we have a block of 6 flats which have been void since 1999. Yeah, housing crisis and also it was redeveloped that one block which wouldn't affect anyone, and also to do infill of our undercover car parks. And there's examples of in North London where they've already done that. We would then thereby generate more, I think it was up to 37 homes at council rent levels. Under the People's Plan, we could generate up to 37 extra homes at council rent levels, which is more than the 27 or 23 that the council would generate by demolishing the whole estate. Council took 1 day to consider it and threw it out, but that's okay because we took it to judicial review. So we've taken the council twice to the High Court on judicial reviews. We've won one, lost one. But the problem with judicial reviews, it's only about the process, it's not about the substance of the decisions. So the council's allowed to make stupid decisions and there's no oversight on them. So that's where we are at the moment. So we will continue with the People's Plan. We're going to keep building on that one. I think the next step is to see if we get people do letters of interest on the funding side. We would have to, looks like we would have to go down the right to transfer for that route because the council is just not willing to consider it themselves. And to get committed funding or funding interests, and then we hit the next step. The council's just appointed their first architects. So 5 years later, and they haven't got a single drawing on the piece of paper, which is brilliant. Yeah. So they're doing that to go to the first phase. So they'll continue on their route. So the next big one will be, we'll hit them through the planning process, and there'll be a massive CPO inquiry. So there'll be a whole lot of human rights breaches and everything else. So, and then we think of a whole lot of fun things to do along the way. There's one I can't mention at the moment, but sorry, you'll be giggling like hell when you find out. And then obviously there's things like parish councils, and we might set up our own parish council just for the heck of it. Why not? And there's the neighbourhood forum. Just doing a neighbourhood plan. So our People's Plan's already been fed into that. We said we've already consulted. Here it is. So we're just waiting for the rest of the community to catch up with us on that front.